Hello, I'm IBX Toycat, and today I'm going to be doing what I do best because a lot of people have been asking me to build more farms in my Minecraft Let's Play world. I mean, the iron farm is the classic that I think we finally quelled, but I've had a few people saying, why don't you make a copper farm? You could make all these valuable uses that we clearly need from copper, and although, they make a really compelling point, there's just so many recipes you can make out of copper, I figured I would do the important thing here and actually go digging down for the copper. The reason for that. Do you hear that? Oh, that's the pistons from my milling farm. Okay, but when you hear pistons, something's gonna be a bit wrong. But I'm actually gonna be making my farm, my mines go down for the first time. I have some mines that go below Y0, but the one in my very house, my iconic 10-year-old cave house that I settled. It's actually 11 years old now. My 11-year-old caves that I settled in, it still only goes down to old bedrock, new deep slate. This is Y9, and then if I'm not mistaken, I have a little bit of a few layers. I can go down to the basement even further, but this is the bottom of the entire thing. But now we can go deeper, so why let this be the end? And the answer to that question is we don't have to let this be the end. Instead, we make a staircase down, and wow, do we see deep slate? And then we dig through that deep slate, and then what do we see? We see the future of where this is all going, because we are digging down to copper layer, most partially because I want to get some copper, right? Honestly, I don't need copper yet, but every time I want copper for something, I'm like, ugh, I'm not going to deal with that. Today, that's going to change. I think having a ton of a resource, even if you don't think it's that useful, is useful because then you can choose to use it later, so that's one reason to mine it. But the other is that I want to work on because there's a lot of really counterintuitive tips in Minecraft, like, mining in a swamp is better. I want to test all these things out, and I haven't done any copper mining since 1.19, and so I need to test out to make sure what is theoretically the best method is actually. Also, thank you Hydro for bringing us up to 823 channel members. Appreciate it a lot. So hello everyone, hope you're having a great, or somehow I'm wearing the same jumper. We match. Streamly Fish, thank you very much. I think you've tipped that on the last few streams. Merry Streammas, by the way. I wish you were Merry Streammas. I wish you were... I'm gonna stop that now. It is day 9. I got really confused yesterday because, honestly, my sleep schedule is still on American time zones. And so I went to bed at the same time. I went to bed, but like in the morning of the next day, and so I was like, oh god, it's it's tomorrow that I won't be streaming, but it was tomorrow as of past midnight. I explained that awfully, but you know how the morning isn't the same day as the rest of the day, that makes perfect sense, just trust me. So anyway, yeah, this is where I'm gonna be mining for copper. Actually, yeah, this is the ideal copper mining area, and here's the cool thing, even though I'm underneath my cave house from 11 years ago, you all saw that, right? I'm literally underneath there. Because these are all new chunks that generated after 1.18, I can still find all the new stuff. In fact, if I go to any chunks that I haven't gone to since 1.18 even, it will generate as 1.19 stuff, which means fun stuff like potentially more diamonds. It's not going to be that noticeable, but it's still cool that it might happen. Also, yeah, we're going to get our hands on a ton of deep slate ores and otherwise. It'll be a lot of fun. So, I thought you were going to be at your friend's house? No, I'm very bad explaining my schedule. This is one of the worst things I do as a streamer. I don't understand days. I'm like, okay, my stream schedule is like, well, it's whenever is my stream schedule. But then if I go like deeper than that, it's like, well, also I'm not tipping today. This doesn't count. Thank you for your brave, your brave stand against it. Also, Toycat tax, says Georgie Pepper. Toycat tax, Toycat tax, Toycat tax. Toycat tax, Toycat tax, Toycat tax, Toycat tax. There we go. Is that good? Did you like that? This world started in the 360 edition. Yeah, this world started in Minecraft Xbox 360 edition. And now we're here, 3 editions later, still playing it. And it's funny because when I started this world, the mine was the thing that I was sure would get craziest over the years. Because, like, mining in Minecraft is something I love. A lot of people act like it's the worst part of the game, like, oh no, I have to go mining. But it's fun to me. Like, look at this. I started digging a tunnel. It's now 2x2 going each direction. That's kind of cool by itself. Now we can dig the ceiling a little bit higher, because, like, okay, Maybe we want a bit more height for our main tunnel. You know, that's a nice thing we can do. And you're crafting in the exact, oh, wow, diamonds. That is cool. I don't need them though, we're good. You know, we don't need diamonds or anything like that. Yeah, I'll literally give 50 cents if you mine 1 million copper instead of 1,000 copper. Well, that's a very compelling offer, isn't it? You're mining negative space. Every block that I mine is a block that I'm building in my new structure, which is this, 3x2x3. It's a nice tunnel, right? Wow, look how good it is in both directions. And there's something about that I find compelling. Building in negative space. Toykat's too rich for diamonds. It's true. I had an idea, I want to do something with, what would it be, jukeboxes or enchantment table. I've already done something with enchantment table, so it's like jukeboxes or diamond blocks. Oh wow, we found a cave. I mean, it's not. This is kind of pushing the definition of cave. We are kind of stretching it a little bit, right? Can we all agree with that? Oh wow, more diamonds. Oh wow, more diamonds. You just can't stop finding diamonds.
This is a certified mining stream.
This
is yes.
Thank you so much, David Solomano, for the £12.22 tip on the stream. Thank you for paying. Thank you for being the best Toycat taxpayer. I think you'll find. You're propping up the Toycat economy, honestly. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to find a lot of copper. I mean, I say I'm going to find a lot of copper, but so far, we found more diamonds than copper, so I don't know. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. Depends on how we see things, I guess. But yeah, if we dig around, this is actually quite annoying. What is this cave? That's okay. Maybe we got this all wrong. Copper is pretty rare at Y-16. Isn't copper best found at Y-16? Did I get it wrong? Is it plus 16? Have I been making a hilarious, misjudgment? I could see that, actually, because it's between... I thought it was... Yeah, no, okay, you know what? Toycat copper spawns at 48. That's a funny mistake I made, if so. I feel like it was... It's one of those things where, again, I've been learning for a video, but I want to not just say it in a video. I want to, have some real-world experience where, it works a bunch. You're right, there is no copper here. It's hard to refute that. It's very hard to disagree with the lack of that. So, yeah, we're gonna mine in this way. And it's gonna be great. Okay, you know what, chat? See, okay, this is the craziest thing. This is why I want to make my video. I asked, oh yeah, is it not -16? And I got 5 different responses. I had one comment saying plus 40. I had a comment saying plus 45. I had a comment saying 48. That was from the person that says battery percentage is GB though, so, can we really trust that? And then we got a -16 from Is the Pass Back. -16 is how I understood it. So that's kind of crazy. So yeah, by the way, just digging that through there, because this is branch mining we're doing. So we'll do this way as well. I don't think we're gonna run into any copper, based on the fact that we have a whole cave without some here. Which is really, really odd. You know what? Yeah, clearly we do not know. Maybe it's changed, and is it plus 16 then? Okay, maybe they're all right in some way. The thing about Minecraft is there's always just the cheat sheet. This is what you do when you don't know. You just check the cheat sheet. So 1 sec. Let's hope I don't die, huh? Minecraft or generation. Yeah, I've got the full technical detail rundowns for this one. Okay, so according to this map, copper is best found at okay, wait. The first iteration it was best found at 48. It looks like. What ore am I mixing it up with? What did I think was found at -16? This is fun. We're gonna actually find this in the best way. Also, thank you very much for the tip. Hey, Toycat, you should make a copper farm. Oh, what's that? Am I gonna have to mine more copper? Okay, according to the Minecraft wiki, it is about 32 to 48. That sounds counterintuitive. Okay, so we look for copper. Yeah, copper peaks about 40. Huh, that is very fascinating. I wonder what ore I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of iron, maybe. You probably thought diamonds. Now, diamonds is best found at a minus... it's found at a very deep minus. This was fun, though. We went on a little adventure. And now, see, we started the mine anyway. And now I can use this for finding gold or iron or, yeah, I can use it to find things later. Clearly I can use it to find diamonds. That's quite an effective technique. And yeah, there is a lot of iron around here. It probably is the second best place to find iron after the mountains. So we can leave here saying, wow, we found some irons. Which, to be fair, I can use iron for like 7 times as many things as the rest of this. But we'll also say, wow, look at me. Good job on finding all these diamonds. I'll dig around them so I remember they're there. You know, at some point I might want diamonds. You know, if I ever get so poor that I'm going and mining my own diamonds, you know, bad things have happened. But this is where I need to go for that. Did you know how far you have to go to generate 1.18 chunks? I do know, actually. I'm quite fortunate. I have like a good feel for where in my world certain things are. So if I'm not mistaken, that will take me out to... Yeah, I know where I'm going to go for that. Okay, so we can't... I wanted to use my old like area so bad, but if it's at Y48, the best place to find it would obviously be... the best place to go would be up here, etc., etc. Okay, we can't do that. The best place to go would be in this same cave, except these chunks generated not only before copper, but before like everything that we know today. So probably not great to do that. I am gonna use my. I forgot this existed till someone pointed it out to me. It's a way to boost myself to the surface. Very, very handy, by the way. And yeah, we're gonna go find some new chunks for that because it's white. Man, it's funny the little mistakes you make if you don't double check something. But we got some iron as a result, which is great. So the dripstone cave is the best place to mine for copper. Thank you for the tip, Euphemisia. Yeah, one of the crazy things about the membership thing recently, like gifted memberships, is now there are so many members, and I have like, it's harder to get that spot between like, oh yeah, I like the stuff enough to become a member, versus like, I was here when there was a membership wave. It's an interesting thing about the, you know, there's that point of like, if everyone is blank, no one is blank, and some people say that's ridiculous. No, that's not. But I think we have like the tiniest bit of truth here. Like we, the slow mode turns off if you're a member. That's something I need to like get fixed because like if everyone's a member, then you can't have, you know, like it's less likely that you're an informed member of the community to be one. There's a few things like that we gotta work on adjusting and understanding. But yeah, anyway, so I'm mining some iron. I'm mining some copper today so that I may smelt it. But if you're curious as to how I'm gonna definitely do that, well, step 1 is to go to sleep. You always do things better when you've got a full stomach or a full sleep meter. You know, try and do things at 3 a.m. when you know there's like hours ahead of you, and you'll feel what I mean there quickly. And that means we're gonna want a shulker box or 2. Okay, this is kind of full of stuff, so we'll... Yeah, you know, it's fine. We'll just... You know, I'll put it down right next to the portal, just so I know to go take that in future. And then we're gonna go, and we're gonna get our 1,000 copper. It's gonna be great. So that it's a funny mistake if nothing else. I'm glad we had it. I'm glad we had it. But yes, now we have to go a few thousand. Actually, you know what? This is gonna be my first application off the tunnel. You know, the big tunnel I've been spending hilarious amounts of time building. You know, some would say, why don't you just... some would say, incorrectly. Also, I need to quickly move some stuff around. Sorry about that. Okay, now I just have to minimize this window. Sorry about that, too. Okay. So, yeah, some people would say, erroneously, of course, that why would you spend 20 to 30 hours working on a big tunnel to save yourself the effort of... And, you know, that's a very valid question. But today, you're going to see it all pay off. Because now I'm going to use the tunnel to get me to where the copper needs to be mined. Except, actually, the best place to go for this stuff, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be this. Okay, that's a ghast. So what we're going to do is we're going to go... Oh, I'm going to get... No, don't blow up my stuff, please. We're going to plant some of those, just because it's fun. And then we're going to go... It's a cool tunnel, says Shane Middleton. It is a very cool tunnel. It's a big tunnel. It's a big wide hole in the nether. Sometimes that's all you need in life. You need a big wide hole to stare at. And I'm glad you all got to see mine. So yeah, sadly we don't get to use that because we don't have a portal for where we're going. I think we should make extra portals in that tunnel, given how safe we've made it, though. So that's an idea for the future. Maybe an idea for now. I mean, you know, we clearly went off the rails when we went mining under my existing chunks rather than finding new ones. So clearly we could follow that. Like, I would have found some copper there, but that would have been playing on hard mode. Like, I want to play on easy mode. How do I play on easy mode? Well, I go out a few thousand blocks. You can go a few thousand blocks in the overworld by going 450 blocks in the nether. And wow, what's that? Am I now at 3,000 blocks on the x-axis? 3,600. So, yeah, I have around... so I'm going for about air layer 48. You can go about, honestly, 40 to, you know, it's one of those things where if you stay too focused on the preciseness, you'll ignore other things that are more important. But, yeah, we're going to go to about layer 48 anywhere in this world and just start mining. In fact, actually, if I'm not mistaken, I have a big village with a giant ravine near it, which is a good place to start, because we could start in this random swamp. This random swamp is very good for lots of things, by the way. We could... Apparently, I chopped down that mushroom. Oh, no, the mushroom just got converted as... Okay, that's weird. Tells me I'm somewhere new. Yeah, this is some weird terrain happening over here. I don't know what's happening. I just know that with a render distance this tiny, I'm never going to find the village I'm looking for. I think it's around here. Honestly, knowing what's in your Minecraft world and where is really, really hard on Realms render distances. And it's even harder... Okay, there we go. Here's the village. So the village is right next to a ravine. Oh, and there's a raid in this village. So let's just ignore that one for now. Okay, so this is a ravine. Ravines are great because you can go to basically whichever layer you want, and it doesn't even require much effort. So we'll just climb down to layer 40, 48. You go a little bit higher because it's easier to go down than up, and it'll be great. So I think where that coal is, we just kind of start mining. Yeah, that's 48. In fact, if we look over here, copper vein 1, copper vein 2, we're in the right place. We can see it with our eyes. And I'm going to use my fortune pickaxe to get some coal. I've got to smelt up all that copper somehow, right? And now let's do this. So this is my mine. It's going to go into a mountain, and it's going to get me a ton of ores. Preferably some coppers. That's where I'd like it to take me. Also, I need to get some torches. Or, wait, better idea than getting lots of torches is what if I had a whole box filled with them? There's now more coal in the box than torches, which is concerning, but it's concerning for future me, not current me. And yeah, now we can go mining. Pro tip: ravines, they're wonderful. Even if we use wings, obviously, but you can just mine down, make a little staircase down, and then you can see exactly where you want to be. And then here's the best bit: we now can fear for our life anytime we look out there, and we just get knocked the wrong way, insta death. It's is that deep slate coal? No, it's just coal next to deep slate. One of the cool quirks of current... Oh, wow. By the way, missed some copper in the ceiling right there. So, yeah, we could mine the blocks, and then we could, like, count that as mining 1,000. Maybe we should count it that way. Like, let's silk touch 1,000 blocks, and then have, like, the big mine at the end. It'll be satisfying, won't it? You know, you want to see what that looks like. Just checked, if you want coppers, you'll need to ride an e-scooter. You know, I can confirm that's how it works. I can confirm. If you wanna have you know, like, any interaction with the police, you're gonna you know, if someone like mugs you, you better hope that you or the mugger is on an e-scooter, or it's not gonna go well for you. That is my understanding of police in the UK. From my own lived experience. If you watch my great third channel series called Toy Cat Gets an E-Scooter and then makes videos on it. There was a while where those videos were going like pretty big for just a guy talking to himself on a scooter. It was fascinating. It was fascinating. Tip: you can make a coal farm with skeletons to gain infinite torches. Oh, promo ancient armor. What's that? Are we mining coal to tell you to stop telling me to make a coal farm now? Oh, look at all this coal I'm getting. Oh yeah. You want me to go make a wither skeleton farm? It's not gonna happen. Yeah. You're never gonna get this to happen. I figured a funny idea might be for I've got a fun I want to do another like AI based video, and one of them relating it to farms I think would be really funny. So it's something I've been thinking with. Love the gaping ravines and giant tunnels today. I'm glad you got to see some good stuff, and you're going to see even more. Also, yeah, 1,000 copper isn't actually going to be an insane amount. I don't think. I think it's going to be quite accomplishable, and that's part of what makes it beautiful. Okay, so we'll place our shulker box here, because this is like the end for a bit. And just inside of that is going to go the copper. And maybe the non-copper should go in there, actually. But now you can see we've got 15 blocks and 40 north. And we'll see how quick we get to 1,000. Because 1,000 is going to be more than we ever need. Oh, should I make a wither skeleton farm internet? I'm not going to do this. Not gonna live my life on such a contrarian bent that I'm actually going to mine all this coal just because someone said to. But yeah, it's I think 1,000 will cover me for like I can make some blocks. I can make my room out of copper if I want. You know, I can do stuff like that, and that's mostly what I'm here for. So then we start mining back this way. The best way to branch mine is usually blocks are free. Gives you the best coverage. And the reason we're not just going in a straight line is because I deliberately am trying not to, affect too many chunks. Once you get long-term into a Minecraft world, a lot of people have that goal, so here's something to consider. Once your file size goes above like 100 megabytes, the bigger your world gets, the more cumbersome it gets to transport and stuff, but also the more likely things are to break. So can next stream be like getting 1,000 wither skeleton skulls so I don't need a wither skeleton farm? I have considered doing that stream before. It's just every time the wither skeletons run out and I'm like, oh, okay then, I guess we're done. Make a field of lightning rods. Isn't it great that I'll have all these options? I can make a field of lightning rods, or I could not. I could make a field. I could make a mesa biome out of copper. But also, I could totally not do that if I felt that was a terrible idea. All the options, the world will be my oyster. Which is a weird phrase, right? Like, I don't see oyster as being a particularly free thing. Like, oh yeah, this is so great. It's gonna be like that one piece of seafood. Also, I think to be optimally at layer 48, I want to go down a block. So I'm going to mine down a bit, just to up my copper chances a tiny bit. Because obviously the top layer is now 48. I'm now 47. I guess it's just as good depending on how you want to view things. But now we go back for another branch. This is the lazy version of branch mining, but it does the job. And we're going to get that copper. It's going to be great. So yeah, the fun thing about mining streams, one of the reasons I like mining is because you can focus on it as much as you like. You can build these negative spaces, like I'm building a little snake going through here, and that's cool by itself. I can, if I really want to, I can focus even harder on this and be like, okay, how about we make this, because it starts in a ravine, we could build something like really interesting, where it's like a giant tunnel that connects all of these entrances together. Like, what if that was the case? There's interesting stuff you can do with even just the entrance to all of this stuff. Wow. Now it's something that's more enticing. It's just a few blocks destroyed. And since obviously we're going to have to fly into this, we remove a block in the ceiling over here. 3 blocks high. Just a logical thing to do. And wow, look at that. We've now made an enticing entrance to our mines. And at least slightly better. On the thumbnail is iron, says PUBG. Nah, it's definitely copper. Definitely copper. No, I've had a lot of people say there's iron on the thumbnail. I actually can't work it out, by the way. Like, are those people going crazy, or am I? Like, where can someone check the thumbnail for? Because it's a really old thumbnail. Also, I want to use my silk touch on this because we're gonna use our fun pickaxe later. But I think we pick up the blocks first, because then we can later. I want to see how many. 1,000 copper, what does that create in the end? It'll be a lot, I can imagine. But how much is a lot? We're going to find out. They're going crazy losses tomorrow, okay? It says iron on it. Wait. Mining it. Okay. Okay. So my thumbnail says... Oh, I see it. It says iron. There's no copper on the thumbnail. The thumbnail just says the word iron. Okay, wait. I'm gonna see. It could be that I just used the wrong thumbnail, and the correct one exists. Yeah, no, it's mining copper, so people would stop telling me to make an iron farm. Honestly, I think that's funny, personally. Like, yeah, people keep telling me to make an iron farm, so I'm mining copper now. I mean, mining iron didn't make them stop talking. So maybe mining copper will? You know? I can explain why it says that. Oh, okay. Harrison is here to save the day. Why does it say that? You gotta let us know. Please do. Shed the light on us. Yeah, that's a that's a fun mistake. Okay, you know what? I'm glad that everyone's not going crazy. Sometimes you get so many comments about some, like whenever I have a typo in the title, I won't notice it like all week. But it's the first thing some people notice. Like, I think having a fresh set of eyes is really good for that. Like, you could spend forever looking at that video and you'll miss something that someone spots in the first second. And that's why having fresh eyes is good. So yeah, Harrison is here to explain it. Oh, wow. What are we going to find in here? We're going to find a big little aquifer. A big little aquifer, yes. Okay, I'm going to test something real quick. So this is me. Your DM from November 2021 specifically said to make a thumbnail saying mining copper, so people telling me it's not making a iron farm. I assumed it was a joke. You know what? I'm sticking with that joke. So people telling me to stop make an iron farm. Yeah, I'm sticking with it. Chat, if you know, the title has always been Iron Farm. That is the joke now. If you don't understand it, then you just don't have the intellect, internet. There we go. Problem solved. And then we go a few blocks down. Okay, so the way we're gonna do this is like this, and then we'll start probably another block down after that, and then we'll mine down here, kind of like staggered. And I hope if we do this right, which I think we can, we should be able to make like a really pretty farm from the outside. That's the hope. That's the hope. Because we'll do the same over here. If we like mine down. Oh, let's see. There's copper right there, by the way. Wonderful. So if we mine down to here, then we can silk touch it with the copper up, and then we'll go this way. And then I'm hoping by mining because instead of mining all the way in one layer, we can make this like fun, very mined out chunk where we get all of the copper from it. You know, I like sustainable methods, etc. So yeah, if you don't understand the joke, that means that you're not smart. That's the only way it can be. You see, so many people were telling me to make an iron farm, but I already have enough iron, so now I'm mining copper just to spite them. You know, that's how it is. That's just the way it is. You know, yeah. I also yeah, it's good to see everyone joining me today on this live stream. It's streamers has been good. I like streams as an opportunity to like have like a longer form chat about some things. You know, like Minecraft, but the iron is copper. I like the opportunity to really share some thoughts if we need to share them. You know, like you know, because even though sometimes I've mentioned before, like, okay, some of the things, like I want to talk about relatability a little bit. This is something that I think a lot of people like find interesting because it's in theory it's the key part of being a YouTuber. The only reason you watch a YouTuber versus some traditional, you know, movie, TV, news, whatever you want to call it, outlet. The only reason. Also, Cat Beanie, today's tip forward goes to Harrison, maker of thumbnails, bringer of the lol, master of things shiny. Harrison is indeed the master of things shiny. That is just a fact. A lot of people can relate to relatability, says David Solomano. Yeah, right, like, everyone has that person they know where they're like, wow, they just get it, you know? Like, they understand life. I think a lot of people think comedians' jobs is to tell jokes, and I mean, that's probably the more direct description. But I think the real part of it is, like, how do you like, turn... Because I think one of the... Oh, we're back here. One of the most masterful skills you can have is turning something bad into something good, right? That's what everyone wants. And, you know, like, something people... You know, like, something that's hard for people, for instance, is, like, laughing at a funeral. And it's like, you should laugh at the funeral. Like, it should be a time of great... Like, things that are sad don't need to be sad. You're just making them sad, you know? It's like sadness is a great way to process some things, but long term, it's like you need to get through and you need to understand, like, well, life is just life, or something like that, right? And so, what I think good comedy can do is, like, get you into that mode where you're like, yeah, this is... Also, I can only have so many spots for this, because I have to have so many copper ores. Yeah, I'm gonna run out of inventory spaces real quick here. Unless I place down my chests and then never grab them again. This is why you need shulker boxes, I guess. Just all the time, every time. Okay, so we're going to make sure We're going to see if we can get to our third lair. Wow, very coincidental it goes right to the same place. Like, very, very happy coincidence, have to say. And then we'll just place some stone there. Nice and easy. And then we're gonna mine out all of the copper here. It's going to be great. But, yeah, taking anything that's awful that's happened, turning into something good is like a valuable thing. And that's like, so for instance, like being able to take like this awful situation that all of us experience and being like, and this is why it's funny, is I think the underlying value that the comedy provides is like, oh yeah, my dad died, but I got a free churro. I think that's a BoJack joke, right? And it's funny because you shouldn't want your dad to die to get a free churro. But if you do get a free churro when your dad dies, it's like, wow, now there's a benefit, and it's a funny joke because, like, of course that's not how it is, but also that's how it is. And so in much the same way, okay, this is a really weird concept. I'm not even really sure how it's all working. I've got to work out like a proper layered system where this makes any sense whatsoever, or this is all gonna fall apart. So I guess we'll mine out here. Yeah, we'll mine all these blocks. Okay, get rid of all of them. They're in the way. They're causing hassle. And then we'll make like a big straight... Yeah, I think that's what we should have done. We should have like a straight area. You know what? Given that we're making a mine now anyway, let's make it primo. But being able to convert with the audience somehow, when comedian or you. Yeah, you have to... The key real thing though is like having them actually believe or trust you. So this has to go down an extra block. So we'll go down there now. And then we can get down to here. And then we can start mining. But yeah, the real thing that... Okay, then we'll mine those blocks. And there we go, we're back in the ravine. The real thing that I think you need to have is this, like... Having a connection is real hard. Like, if you work in sales or something, maybe this is something you'll feel like. You need to get people to trust you enough to part with a lot of their money, and you don't have time to do it. Like a normal friendship, you build over the course of weeks or months. So you need to build like a temporary friendship when you work in like real estate or sales or, any business where your job is like to be trusted. And you could even argue YouTuber, right? The average YouTube watch time is like 3 minutes. So you have 3 minutes to get someone to like you enough to stay around. Like something insane, like 30% of viewers don't watch more than 30 seconds of a video. You have 30 seconds to say why someone should get to their 3 minutes of you so they can get to the point where maybe they want to watch more of your stuff. It's a crazy, crazy world when you dive into the actual numbers of how this has to work. And how do you convince someone to like you in 3 minutes? You gotta speed run, it's bond building, any percent. You've got to be like, okay, real quick, just some important facts about me. I hate haters, and my dad died when I was 4 years old, and I never knew how to tie a tie. It's like, okay, that's too heavy. Okay, let's try again. Speedrun attempt 2. My dad didn't die when I was 6 years old, by the way. But I mean, my dad left when I was like 3, so I never really knew him. And so, like, I've always felt that's, like, much better than having a father who was, like, there and then distinctly wasn't. Like, if you don't know what you're missing, then you don't feel any sadness about it. Like, I've never felt any sadness about your pet dog because I've never known your pet dog. But I might feel sadness about, my lifelong pet cat that was the same age as me that died when I was 18. And 18's a long time for a cat to make it, and it was like a bad death as a result. But yeah, so like you got like speed run percent. Okay, that wasn't good. That was too much death. Death works for some people, but you got to be in a bad mood for that. You need to put people in a good mood as well as convince them they like you enough. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, speed run. Hey everyone, how's it going? I really love beyond belief going to the grocery store because I like groceries. They're tasty and they're good for you sometimes. Okay, no, that's too generic, not good enough. Okay. Don't you hate it when you go out to eat and the way you're eating your food and the waiter comes over and says, how is it? And you've got food in your mouth, so you have to go like, oh, it's really good. Okay, is that good? Is this relatable now? Yeah, do you like me more now? Have you realized that, like, actually this guy, you know, he gets it. He understands what it's like to go to a restaurant. I bet he has actually eaten out at some point. You know, yeah, that's the worst to me. That's that no joke. That last thing, like, I've got like a real, like, I don't know, like, call it like a wolf attitude. Like my real instinct is like, I want this food and I want to eat in a way. Like I think I've heard this is what happens when you grow up with siblings. Because if I didn't eat my food quick enough, then my brother would be like, oh yeah, you should give me some. Like what's my real reason? Like maybe this is just like I'm teaching you about the world of gaslighting. They'll be like, well, I don't have any food. You know, this is I've heard this is a value that gets people like cautious of certain like redistributionist ideas. Is if you've ever had a sibling, they'll say something like, yeah, well, I have none and you have one, so we should both have half. Like the human value of fairness is really deeply rooted. Everyone, like, some people might, like, you know, look at the world as being cartoon villains and, you know, pantomime people, and then the good guys who, and it's like, well, actually, yeah, what about that? What happens if, you know, like, two people have, you know, one pound, and then, you know, one person goes down to 0. Now the only fair thing to do, you can argue, is to go back. Or you could say, well, if you both started with 1, that's fair. What if you know, you have 3 and your brother has 1 because you worked a little job? You know, do you deserve to keep all the proceeds from that job? You know, like he was there for you. Does he not get a little cut on that? You get into a really fascinating world, like just within like a small family unit of like, how do you work this whole thing? And the answer is, you're never gonna find a satisfying answer. That's the real answer. Is you're never gonna find a good one. Just lots of bad ones. But yeah, it's like equality versus equity, says Cat Beanie. Yeah, there is a real struggle in the world with the difference between those two terms. Like even like because there's equality as far as like the outcomes that people receive. Like you know, for example, like if 2 people go into a hospital and, you know, like they come out with different outcomes, that's not equality, right? They both had lung cancer, they both went to the hospital, 1 died and 1 didn't. That's not fair, is one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is like, no, you don't want equity of outcome, which is what I just described. You want equality of the inputs. You want it to be so that 2 people can go to the hospital and get equal treatment while they're there. But if you were to balance the treatment they'd get for their lung cancer, you'd be saying, okay, all of our resources have to go into these lung cancer people because they have no chance of surviving. These heavy smokers, they have low chance of surviving. Whereas if you get it randomly, then like, well, you know, we reckon your odds are better. That's how we guarantee the fewest possible people in this group die versus this one. And then it's like, well, actually, that sounds kind of unfair too, because like, don't you think that like, and you can see real quickly how it devolves to like, oh yeah, there's a real hard challenge in balancing equity and equality. Toycat, I have been watching you since you ate the pepper. Have a great holiday. So if you liked the pepper stream, that was the last time I did like a major stream on a holiday, like outside of the event that is Streamless, I guess you could say. However, I am as a special little this year thing, I am going to be doing a big stream on the eve of Christmas Eve. I need to go propagate a plant so it actually survives. No one needs to propagate a plant. You want to propagate a plant. And it's a good idea, too. Don't get me wrong. Toycat says heavy smokers get better healthcare. I mean, should they not? Isn't it unfair that when you go into the hospital, they come out with worse outcomes for their lung cancer than someone who gets it by, by genetic factors. That is I'm making a ridiculous edge case here, but in the base point, it's got some truth to it. Because an example I think everyone would get on board with is if you say like, okay, what about some people who, two sets of people. One who, okay, I'm going to start digging down this way now, as confusing as this gets. This whole mind system is just going to fail to work in any meaningful way if I don't understand what I'm doing. And so I'm going to wing it and see what happens, which is great. The weird thing here, right, is that you could argue two people, like a really fair argument is like, well, if this person came from a really underprivileged background, or maybe underprivileged if you want to make it the American way, go racial on everything, like underprivileged group of people, ethnically speaking, then shouldn't we say that like we have to balance out that in the way we're expecting their outcome, right? Like if they get to the and that's a thing, that's an argument some people make. Like instead of just this is two lung cancer patients going to hospital trying to get the same outcome, i.e. life, two people going into the world trying to get the same outcome, i.e., like earnings, and that's much more like understandable or relatable. People start agreeing with that much more because it's it's easy to not smoke, probably. I mean, not if you're really into it. But it's a decision to not smoke, whereas it's not a decision to be born in an underprivileged situation. But I mean, it is a decision. It's just not a decision you get to make. And that's why I think the really brutal line starts to be in like, what is the line between decisions versus because if true randomness should be shared. Everyone has this agreement on insurance. So insurance is like a ridiculous version of gambling we all think is okay. In insurance, you say everyone pools their risk together. There is a 1 in 1,000 chance of you having a house fire in a given year. Obviously, this is non-IBX Toycat subscribers. You guys don't have to worry about this. But there's a 1 in 1,000 chance of a house fire in a given year, right? That's a rough fact. It's probably slightly less. Probably depends on the area a bit more. But just take that as fact for a second. And so with that in mind, rather than having a 1 in 1,000 chance that everything you know is just lost, we can pool that risk together. We can say, instead of a 1 in 1,000 chance of losing everything, everyone loses 1 in 1,000 every year. So, that's, what is that, 0.1% off your everything. You pay into a big pile, and you say, next time someone loses theirs, we'll all pay, and they don't have to be out. Their life is not ruined by that house fire anymore. And 0.1% is what, like nothing. And even better, it's like now it means that you're like we're all collectively making a better world for everyone. Like you're now helping out him, he's helping out you. Wow, how wonderful that is. But the reason that equity the reason the equality equity problem comes up is because actually in the real world, some people do live in very house fire prone conditions. Do you know this? This is shocking to me. What do you think causes house fires, chat? Like I was as naive as anyone was. Like, yeah, you just sometimes someone leaves the stove on, or like a candle. Like we always assume it's like outside of someone's control, and so house fires are something we should all be on. But the biggest culprit, the biggest single culprit by such a wide margin, the reason they had to put those fire tags on your mattress, which is like letting you know how fireproof they are, is because people would fall asleep having a cigarette. People would have a lit cigarette in their hand. They'd either put it out unsafely, or the falling asleep by herd is more common. But maybe that's just diffusing responsibility. And I'll get the percent of this, actually, because it's gone down a lot because of how much advancements we made. What percent of house fires are smoking? House fires are smoking. It is 36% of all accidental house fires resulting in death. And so, do you, a responsible person who doesn't smoke in your bed, bear in mind, think about this, right? This isn't smoking in the house, which is fine to do. This is smoking in bed, the place made of flammable bed sheets. House fires are the result of irresponsible decisions, i.e. not being subscribed to the Toycat channel, and also deciding to smoke in bed. Pick one of those two things to do. Don't do both. What's going on with that, you know? Also, yeah, this is I might just have to start mining real big in one direction, because this whole insanity of going down and then down and then down is not actually working out as well as you'd hope, given the given the blocks we're putting into it. So we'll try a little more anyway, just to be fun. So we'll go down another 3 blocks now, and we'll see what's over here. We'll get some more iron eventually. We're going quite a bit lower down. That might be one of the big reasons why. But if I'm subscribed, I can smoke in bed. Yeah, sure, why not? I mean, if you die in a house fire, you can't sue to tell me that was bad advice. That is definitely correct. Try and fact check me. You make me want a cigarette, and I don't even smoke cigarettes. There's something about smoking in bed just enticing to you. I'm just saying, you know, I can't afford to lose my Toy Cat tax base. That's the real problem here. My husband smokes, but not inside. Oh no, you gotta inhale the smoke, or you don't get the nicotine. You gotta let him know. The smoke has to go inside, or it's not smoking. It's just having a little, you know. That's a bad joke. I'm sorry. I still barely. I think one of the most annoying facts in my entire life is smokers being like, you gotta like inhale it. It's like, yes, that is what happens when it goes from here into, and then like everyone's like, no, but it's different to when you. It's like, we can just say inhale more so it goes deep in your lungs, or it goes further in there than your mouth or whatever. Okay, you know what? Smoking aside. So yeah, do you think you should be responsible for other people's house fires things? Or are they responsible for a big mistake they made themselves and then they've put everyone else on the hook for? And the answer gets more murky because a lot of things in life do come down to responsibility. For example, I don't know, like, I think the biggest examples you can point to of like this isn't someone's responsibility is usually disability. I think everyone would agree, or most reasonable people would agree, like, well, being born disabled is a random chance. I mean, it's not actually random because like there are genes, and you know, particular genes have a higher or lower chance of. But like we're not playing eugenicists, so we say that. I mean, why are we not playing eugenicists? Maybe a fun. Fun question for another day, huh? But yeah, that's given that we're not, we should be asking ourselves like, well, you know, if we could prevent this whole thing, and then it's like, okay, then we decide it's not. So we all collectively decide we could stop. We could have fewer people be born disabled, but it's not worth it. We all said that was a bit, you know, that was a bit Germany in the 1930s. Whereas we on the other hand, we say that smoking in your general life is a personal choice, because you know, and it's funny because I've looked into a lot of like the ways, because smoking has become less acceptable in my lifetime. In fact, I mean probably in a lot of your lifetimes too. Like at the start of my life, it was like, yeah, you just smoke when you do. Like the UK was very European in that regard. Just like, yes, you smoke everywhere and it's okay because cigarettes, they're very good. Whereas by the time I was like, you know, like 16, 18, it's like, yeah, it's banned everywhere indoors. Also, you know, like there's a huge bunch of taxes on it to encourage you, like, please don't do this. Also, you know, and then the list of things goes on. Also, gravel is the worst. Yeah, that's the worst thing about mining the same stretch over and over again, is I'm just finding more and more gravel. But how mining copper make iron farm obsolete, says Mazer T. Oh no, people just keep asking me for an iron farm, so I figured I'd mine copper. You know how it is. Some people tell you to do one thing, you gotta do the other. That's definitely a thing everyone experiences, and not just me, trust me. I went to Greece this year, and I swear to God, everyone there smokes, says Val. Yeah, this is the universal experience if you go to anywhere in mainland Europe, as anyone else in the world. You go to Italy. I went to Belgium when I was 22, and person I was there with, they paid for a taxi for me to go to the airport. It was across the other side of the country, by the way, and it like, which, you know, funny European country size thing, that like other side of the country was €100 taxi or something. But yes, I went all the way across the country in a taxi, and then the guy's just smoking, and it's like, well, yeah, I mean, he loves to smoke. He was polite about it. He's like, is it okay if I smoke? And I was like, I mean, I don't want to smell smoke. He's like, it's okay, I'll open the window. And then he just did it. And you know, like, I guess, like, do you want a cranky smoking driver that hasn't had a smoke? Or not? I mean, doesn't seem like it's a good thing. Doesn't seem like it's a good thing. So, yeah, this bridge is now in entirely the wrong place. And, like, I should have lined it up over there, really. Yeah, you know, let's do that. Let's just pretend the bridge was always here. And then we'll work out the problems of this later. And let's get this iron that's up there, this copper that's up there, because I'm just not mining at a fast enough pace. I think I do have to do the heavy, like, just we're gonna mine in a straight line until we can't mine in a straight line anymore. I think that's how we're gonna get the best results. So let's do precisely that, actually. From up here, let's just go.
Toy cat taxes. Toy cat taxes. Toy cat has the taxes. All the fun it is to tax for toy cat every day.
Toy cat taxes, toy cat taxes, toy cat has taxes, toy cat is... Man, there's just gravel everywhere around here. Ruining my day, ruining my life even. I guess that the upside is I get to have these very tall tunnels. They're very interesting to look at from that angle. But just, you know, honestly, at some point I'm going to want all this gravel. I do know that. It's just that point is not now. Okay, so, yeah, I'm doing a real big Christmas event, chat, for the first time since the Pepper. I'm going... Well, so thank you, Gerald K. I really appreciate you being there. Happy Streammas to you. To end off Streammas this year, I'm going to be doing a 17-hour stream. You can predict what it's going to be. Maybe. But this is the sneaky announcement before the announcement. Yeah, the 23rd, I figured, like, well, if it goes awfully, I can spend Christmas Eve recovering, and then I can, you know, drink on Christmas Day to forget all the pain. You know, I think in our lifetimes, I think drinking's gonna have the same, like, something interesting about, interesting as time goes on, is the drinking percentage is going down and down and down. Like in the same way that amongst younger people, like I don't know, like, you know, like, I don't know, memes and veganism are cooler. Also amongst young people, alcohol is becoming less common, as well as binge drinking. Because there's this really funny critical effect, what's the word? Like, a critical point. There's a point where if enough people aren't doing something, you can now not do that thing. If you don't want to do the thing. So, like, if 90% of people are drinking at an event, it's really hard to be the non-drinker there. Like, I always saw TV shows. Remember the Overton window? You can move the Overton window whichever way you want. I think we should make smoking crack acceptable again. Like, I think it's pretty crazy that, like, you know, in your own home, in your own bed, you can't just smoke a little crack before you go to bed. You know, before actually, wait, can I say this in a Minecraft stream without causing problems? You know, I'll double down on it. I think that we should lower the age of crack consumption to like 11. You know, there we go. Is that? Should we triple down now? I think the only thing worse than the lack of ability to smoke crack inside your own home is, and I could pick something worse here, like, I don't know, like the Irish. There we go. Is that good? Just say in Minecraft. I meant in Minecraft. Yeah. Just to clarify that was all an in Minecraft joke. Wisconsin's still the most drunken state in the country. It's sad that it's so accepted. Yeah, no, it's so there's I used to see TV shows that were like to leave those comments aside. You know what? Do you want me to quadruple down? You want me to quadruple down? The only thing worse than like is than like not being able to smoke crack at 11 or the Irish is Irish people who don't smoke crack at 11. There we go. Anyway, so isn't that what the sniffer does? Says promote ancient armor. Any advice expressed in a Toycat livestream should not be taken as genuine advice, either general, legal, or medical. This, if I just say parody after, I think we're good. That was a good parody. So anyway, yeah, I used to see all the time. I used to see like TV show things about like how hard it is to be a non-drinker. Like, oh yeah, like everyone just pressures you. Yeah, you have your cup there, and everyone's like, ooh, why aren't you drinking? And you have to explain like, oh yeah, my dad was killed by a drunk driver when I was 7. And it's like, ooh, well, don't be a square about it. You're bumming me out. Which, side note, I mean, you know, like, you know, I want to know your thoughts, chat. You know, if you're at a party and someone asks why aren't you drinking, and the reason you're not drinking is because a drunk driver hit and killed your father when you were 9, do you think you should say that out loud? Like, there's an actually interesting question in my opinion, because on the one hand, a little bit of a bummer to say, right? A little bit of a. On the other hand, they did ask. I'm a big believer in the honest answer, but I also think that people are never actually asking for honest answers, right? No major Debbie Downer moment, right? But should you just never answer anything that could be sad? If someone asks like, "So how are you doing?" I'm doing great. Actually, there's a good example. Yes, because why aren't you drinking is a dumb question. I guess that's a good way to see it in reverse. It's like, yeah, it's the only way to train people not to ask that question. If you don't like a question, giving a horrific answer that makes the question haver question their life decisions, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. Toycat is just a comedian, nothing to worry about. He's definitely not a cartel leader. And if I was a cartel leader, at least I'm only partially Irish, I only hate myself a little bit. Fun fact, if you're Irish and you're watching this, don't worry. I'm Irish too. I am from County Armagh. Am I from County Armagh? One sec. I have to quickly check that one. County Armagh. I'm from nearby County Armagh. There's too many counties in Ireland, and everyone acts like they know all the other counties. There's like 32 of them, and there's like 5 million people for all of them. It just, it doesn't make any sense. IBX Toycat, please be my therapist. Let's do some live therapy sessions. I think we need to distract from this controversy we've just created by causing another one. And so, if you have any therapy you need, let me. Also, why do I have 2 helmets? I should go home, empty my inventory, grab an extra shulker box or 2. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Things like that, are you okay, fine thing when you're actually dying inside, sometimes from lung cancer. I mean, technically speaking, chat, so we got like 400 of us right here. Statistically, someone is going to get lung cancer in the next few years. So you might have it inside you right now. Is that a calming thought? I hope that's a calming thought. If you're ever honestly, like, remembering you might die at any moment is like the best way to deal with like things that seem hard. Because honestly, we have too much time on Earth. Like, it's when you've got so many years ahead of you, it can be hard to make like critical decisions. But sometimes you need to have something big, like, why does no one love me? Toycat says, okay, let's do the therapy. Okay, Reagan's Rad Girl. The reason no one loves you is because the reason no one loves you is because see, this is one where like you know what the harsh but correct thing to say would be here, right? And I don't know if now's a sore time to jump on that one, so I'm gonna make sure I ask nicely before saying it. So does anyone else have therapy they need before coming back to that one? I'm back from McDonald's. I hope I don't have lung cancer now. I hope you don't too. Yeah, JP Gaming. I'm looking for your. I just love your vibes. Tell me. Ask for some therapy. Tell me what therapy you need right now. People with lower self-esteem deserve it. That's a mean thing to say. If you have low self-esteem, then it's kind of your fault if you think about it. If you're like really self-conscious about like your ugly face. Have a less ugly face. I'm just saying. Like, it's not. People can't do everything for you. Also, we've now got like 100 copper, but it's way less than I was expecting by now. Turns out there's a difficulty involved, even in mining copper. Okay, so oh Christ. Yeah, let's. Why does everyone say I'm a war criminal? I need therapy. We have a weird view of the world, Dasha, who is a Russian citizen. Probably a citizen, at least a resident. So to answer your question, we have a very complex view of the world where we find it very hard to differentiate between the actions of a country and the actions of an individual within that country. So, for example, the United States elected a president who is controversial, and Is that the fault of Americans? Yeah. Yeah. And so that's already complex, because, like, well, that's, like, straight up democratically, even if not all of them believe in that president, the largest number do. He is the most popular amongst people who voted. And so, yeah, I think that we can talk about the fear of invisible polar bears. You know what? I'm not ready to talk about invisible polar bears yet. No, if by the way, if no one loves you, just to finish that one, you know what? The trick is you got to become a more lovable person. If you can't love yourself, how can anyone else love you? Like, you are the person who has the best idea. You know how I said I have 3 minutes to convert someone to thinking, yeah, this is a guy I want to watch talk about Minecraft or life or reality or whatever. I have 3 minutes to do that. And that's hard because, you know, like, I think you might like me, or you at least might tolerate me if you spend a little time around me. But with 3 minutes, you're going to despise something I have to say about, you know, the teenagers smoking crack in Ireland or something. It's going to be, it's going to be a whole thing, right? So, yeah, that's my thing. Toy Cat's from Texas. The English accent's fake. The English accent is something I put on because I reckon I'll get more viewers that way. So you talk about Minecraft. That's a fair point. I thought that was copper, but it's just iron. I'm definitely finding a lot more iron than copper. I think I'm using outdated information here. You can be loved even if you don't love yourself. It's an exercise in accepting something you don't believe. See, Jenny Nobody, hate to tell you, you know, you can... Also, did I pick up that shulker box? If I did, I must have left it on the ground. That's a problem. It is true, but it's a really bad idea. You have to, like... You have to be really, really, really blind. Like, not really, really, really blind. You have to... Like, it's a very challenging exercise, because if you don't love yourself and someone else does, and then they say, wow, you have real nice feet, bad body part example, you have real nice cheeks, you're not going to believe someone when they say that. And so they are going to sound like they're a liar, and they're saying a nice thing to get things from you. When in reality, they are saying something nice because they believe that you have very nice cheeks. And so you can train yourself to believe that anytime someone compliments you, they're being genuine. But a lot of the time, people are complimenting you in non-genuine ways.
Howdy, Toy
Howdy, Toy Cat.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who wants to answer how are you, with an honest answer like I'm dead inside. Happy Streamus. You're looking forward to the 100 day.
Oh, you're gonna get to see it, are you, Pookie? It's gonna be a disaster. I just know I'm gonna die from something stupid. I'm gonna put everything I can into that not happening. Just so we're clear here, internet. I'm gonna put everything I can into not dying in a stupid way, and it's still going to happen. It's still going to happen. And so, oh, I think it went down there. No, I got it. So, given that that's the case, I've got to, like, be emotionally prepared. Mine copper at below Y0. See, you know what? One sec. I am finding it in really sparsely right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly... Minecraft copper generation. Okay. So, copper ore. Okay, you know, we'll just be a second here. I definitely learned it was -16. See, this is why I need to make the video about mining, is because, okay, layers -16 to 112. Most common, layer 47 and 48, and less common at both ends. Copper ore rarely replaces deep slate and tough, generating within deep slate and tough layers 0 to 16. I think, where do you find copper veins, though? Okay, wait, copper vein Minecraft. Okay, copper veins are largely made of granite with copper ore and... Okay. Where are we finding one? The ore veins are... Generation. They occur above Y0. Okay, it just says occurs above Y0, and iron veins occur below Y0. Okay, well, that's useful, isn't it? I'll find something eventually. Stony Shores, Y0 higher. I'm telling you, that's where I find the giant veins. I mean, I might as well fly around anyway once I hit the end of this end, regardless, I guess. Also, it's very dark. I hope you can all forgive me for that. I know it's very hard to live in a world of darkness, but it's the world that I live in anyway. No, did you ever think you'd grow up to be a teacher? I learned something in every video. No, if it was, if there was any other explanation of me being a teacher at this age, you know, teaching people things, I would have put a, I was gonna say I put a bullet in my brain, but you know, that's too harsh towards school teachers. I'd have immediately, started, taking, I mean, I would have been like maybe 11 at the time, so you can work out what I would have done, but, there we go. It's always gonna be a reference. The best way to mine copper is in water fountains. That's true. I mean, copper is just everywhere in the real world, and we're just not brave enough to take it. That's our big problem as a species. We're just not brave. Also, yeah, mining dirt is faster than mining stone, so if we want to find gravel, this is where we do it. I mean, if we want to find copper, this is where we do it. As you can see, it worked really well, and so I'm definitely going to do more of this in the future. I found some iron, I guess. Yeah, it says it's most common here, but I'm really not feeling it. I got 100 copper blocks, I mean copper ores. But that's not like a perfect record, is it? That's like far from perfect. You missed a copper block near the... Oh, wow, I did miss copper blocks near the car. Good job. Good job, Dasher. You know, good eyes. What big eyes you have. So, yeah, the reason that people are being prosecuted, because how do you separate the action of citizens versus the collection of those citizens? It's more complex when you add the layer of government, so even though Russians are not directly responsible for the things that their leader is doing, by the only reason that any regime has power is because everyone underneath it is turning a blind eye, or, you know, like you would have to risk so much in a way that I have no shame in admitting, if I was in Putin's Russia, I would not be protesting because I like myself being alive. But if enough people all did it at the same time, organized it the right way, it would, you know, then the bad things would stop happening. And so, you know, you can look, there's an argument that you're responsible for something you're not stopping. I think it's a really bad argument. I've mentioned this before and I think it's quite controversial, but I think if someone is choking to death and you don't stop them, if someone is drowning and you don't save them, I don't think that's murder. But in a lot of places, you can get charged with, like, not saving someone's life. Because not saving someone's life is tantamount. And, you know, maybe those laws are put in place because that's, like, how murderers would sneakily kill their victims. Or maybe there's a really good reason I just can't comprehend. But to me, that's, like, an abhorrent law. That's, like, no, your ability to do nothing should be guaranteed. But the way we societally see things is that you doing nothing is enabling the problem that you are ignoring. And, you know, there is some truth to the idea that's the whole thing. So, yeah, now we're gonna... I should make a nether portal over here so I don't have to fly all the distance from my other one. Or, wait, okay, hear me out. What if No, I need more shulker boxes. It sucks to go home so empty-handed, but let's do it anyway. So here's a ton of zombies. We'll just let them die. That's fine. Let's fly to the home. If we see a big cave or... Ooh, you see this little pocket of mesa? Also a desert well. Wow, what a treat. What a delightful place this is. Yeah, this is some odd terrain. I wonder how this generated. You see that? Oh, it's also another, like, cave. By the way, I just realized that ravine I was looking at, that's like an old style ravine. I don't think you get them like that anymore. I think that's like genuinely not something that you can find in modern Minecraft. So if you want to experience old style Minecraft, better believe we've got it. You should mine for all your emeralds instead of farming them. You know, I'm a big believer that mining emeralds is the weird one that's not meant to be done. And that's weird because that's the opposite of all the other things. Also, here's something to fund your therapy sessions or illegal substances because of the invisible polar bears. Man, I really need that. I cannot stress enough the amount, like, one of my biggest, like, everyone has, like, a big thing that fear or that triggers them the most, however you want to say it. Like everyone has something they're most vulnerable to, you know, like a strength and a weakness. And I think one of mine is genuinely being out of control of what is happening to me. Like, I think a lot of people have the same fear, because, like, isn't it crazy you can be minding your own business, and one day the government decides, hey, we don't like you, and then you're in a prison cell. You know, that's the thing I was talking about with, like, the fear of being a Russian citizen protesting against the regime there. Like, oh yeah, this is going to lead to bad things for you. That's just how it's going to be. Polystyrene is Cat Beanie's fear, though. Very reasonable fear. Yeah, there is a very, very real case for like everyone having like their own weakness. But I think things being out of my own control is scary. So like, I think I played things right in that first Minecraft world. I locked myself in a house, and then a mob hit me through the corners. And then the second time, I was like, okay, I played things a little bit more dangerously, but I figured I have 8 hearts. I'll eat a golden apple the moment something goes wrong. And you have a it's like a half second or a full second cooldown timer from when you get hit once to when you get hit again. So you can spot this when you get caught on fire. Do you see I'm on fire? And then again, and then again, and then again, and then again, and then like the fire. I'm still on fire, so in theory I should be going damage, 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 damage. But there's a cooldown. However, in slimes and magma cubes don't follow that cooldown. That's kind of deliberate with them, but apparently iron golems don't follow the cooldown either. And so it's so brutal to learn that. It's so brutal to learn that iron golems don't follow the cooldown when you accidentally hit one with a shovel while you're trying to mine out your new safe base. It's a bad time to learn something like that. And yet, it is what happened to me. So, Kat, you traumatized by skeletons after last night? I'm annoyed by skeletons, but I'll admit I made the mistake with the first skeletons. I blocked myself in a corner. I should have made myself like a place where they would have never even seen me. That was my mistake, and I should live with that. The second one, though. Also, I didn't get my blue shulker box. Oh no. Yeah, I'll admit, like, what is on me is the first time I died last night. If you don't know, I tried to beat Minecraft with wooden tools only, and it went pretty well until it didn't. So yeah, I fully can say was all on me that first time. But the second time, it's like, yeah, okay, well, I got hit by a ghast. I kind of knew it would hit me. I just didn't know it would destroy me. It did 8 hearts of damage when I had some armor on. And I was like, okay, so a single arrow will kill me. I'll eat I think I had a golden apple. Maybe. I'm not sure what I had. Before I ate the golden apple, I got the last 2 hearts taken away from me. And it's like, yeah, I wouldn't be excited to claim that was my fault, but I could still see that being my fault. Yeah, like, skeletons are a mob that feel like somewhat random. Every other mob, you could, like, if you stay aware of your surroundings, you can feel safe from most mobs, but not that one right there. So, yeah, anyone needs some more therapy? I'll give you some free therapy on Toycat right now. Tell me what your problems are. I'll tell you how to fix them or something. Or I'll tell you how to at least stop avoiding them, which is what you're doing right now. It's very disrespectful. Okay, so also, let's get our cooked beef out so we can start running the furnace on 4 copper. I am going to leave this right over here because it does have a ton of copper in there. In fact, it's got even more copper in there now. So that is 40. We got 110 copper ores. So we'll go for more though. We'll go for more. We're just gonna need to bring out the big guns if we're gonna do that. So shulker boxes, preferably not one with stone already in it. Oh, these are very full shulker boxes. Ah, this is all my shulker boxes are very full. I've got a shulker box fulfillment problem. Maybe this shulker box is empty? No, that makes sense that one's full. So where do I keep my empty shulker boxes? I want to say I have a place for them. Is it in here? No, it's not. Is this one empty? No, this one should be empty, and yet it is not. You know, in Minecraft, sometimes you have a shulker box problem, and you just don't know what to do about it. And that is basically me right now. So we'll load up a whole furnace with some coal. We'll load up the chest with some extra coal. And we'll go right back over. Yeah, sounds good. Actually, let's switch this out. Put the iron in. And then put the copper in here for now. I need this copper for later. We'll take it out. But yeah, let's go. One big batch of mining. And we'll do like a huge mine all the ores we've just got with this fortune pickaxe. It'll be nice. Didn't you do an inventory management stream? I missed watching, but shouldn't your inventory be, you know, managed? Yeah, look how managed my inventory is. I have like 12 to 20 free spots at any point in time. Yeah, what do I do if all my friends think I'm evil? If all your friends think you're evil, then you're probably putting off a lot of evil behaviors. And there's this really tempting cycle that people get trapped into where people assume you are going to act a certain way, and so you act a certain way to reaffirm their beliefs. I've seen this a lot with, like, when someone gets called stupid, they'll act stupid a lot because that's what they assume their friends are expecting from them. You know, you know what if that makes any sense? Like, people's expectations of you do shape you to some extent. Like, have you ever noticed that people called, like, Philip will be a certain way, or people called Bianca? You know a Bianca? Yeah, I know how your Bianca is. There are certain names that seem like they are certain ways. I believe this is in some part because, like, if you meet someone who's called a Bianca, they're not going to be a nerdy girl. It's going to be insert blank thing here, and you expect that. And so if it's wrong, you're like, huh, that's odd. Whereas if you see a Philip and it's a Philip, you're like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I expect. And so people can fit in more by being a certain thing. But also, yeah, if your friends are like, Mao, you're so evil, then you're tempted to be like, oh yeah, so I saw this thing last night of people dying in Ukraine. It was crazy. And you're like, and they're like, man, that's messed up. You're like, you could say it's evil, perhaps. And you're not actually saying that out loud, but that's the character development you're going through. It's called, like, flanderization in TV shows. Like, it is very easy for people to just become more and more of the traits that people know of them. Because like I said earlier, like, if I have 3 minutes to get someone to like me, you have a whole lifetime to get to learn to like yourself. And if you don't like yourself, that's a really damning indictment. How is anyone else ever going to? But it also means that, but also everyone else has way less experience with you than you do. You should know for yourself how you are, and you can stand up for that vision of yourself if you want to. Or you can let other people shape that vision of you, which is fine. A lot of people are genuinely happier, being like, so, I don't know how I feel about ice cream. What do you want me to feel about ice cream? Here's a crazy one. Have you ever gone out for a bunch of friends and, like, tried a food or something? The first person to state their experience sets the tone for the group. People are going to agree like, oh, wow, yeah, this is real good. Or if you're like, oh, this is awful. Someone might go, yeah, I think it's actually pretty fine. But the only people to talk up are people going to be like, yeah, you're right. This is trash. This is the worst thing I've ever tried. I can't believe they sold us this food even. It's crazy, but it's truth. So chat thinks your chests are organized. You know what? Thank you for agreeing that my chests are perfectly well organized. I agree that they are. I don't think they could be any better organized. I think we've already reached the pinnacle of what can be accomplished by mankind. To go any further would be foolish. To go any further would be a fool's errand. See, you can tell I've been playing random seeds too long because I see cows and I'm like, I'm gonna kill them. I'm gonna get their leather. Gonna craft a nice leather suit for myself. Also, it turns out I have a portal here already. Where do you think it goes? I hope it's not straight back where I came from. Yeah, I have no recollection of making this portal. It probably goes back where I came from, doesn't it? Well, we have to find out. You can't just see a portal and ignore it. That's silly. Oh, what do you know? It goes right back here. And here's the crazy thing about portal linking. If you've never experienced this before, it's a little bit wild. If we go back through the portal, it doesn't take me back where I just was. It takes me like 800 blocks away. Back to where I originally went through. You can really abuse this portal linking if you want to. For some really wild things. Like, I just traveled all those blocks with going through a portal, then going back through a portal. If you set it up deliberately, you can do some powerful things. If I destroy this portal, I could probably relink them a little bit better. But yeah, I'm not going to. I'm just going to fly this way, waste the fireworks from last time, it's fine. And get some more fireworks in. So, yeah, oh no, okay. Thank God we're on Bedrock and not Java for that one. Oh, a ruined portal. Am I even going the right way right now? I have this like feeling that I'm not. I don't recognize this swamp. I know there are more diamonds under this swamp. But yeah, I don't even know where. There was a desert that I went through last time. Okay, so this is where I found the Nether portal. I can use that information. Was it this? No, we've gone too far, right? Okay, chat. I've lost everything. What do you do when you've lost everything besides find it? There was definitely. I think it's just I went too far this way. If I go back that way, we'll be fine. So yeah, I wanna find like a nice big exposed dripstone thing. Also, yeah, if you spamming multiple messages will get you timed out or even blocked. Just a warning. So first, Toycat tax, which should really go to rent. You know, I read that at first and I was like, oh, you want me to pay that Toycat tax towards rent? Okay, I can do that. I am renting an apartment. I can put your money towards rent, but you're saying that money that you are currently paying as a Toycat tax should go towards rent. And you know, sometimes you have to learn about good financial planning by doing bad financial planning, right? Did I do this, by the way? What am I meant to... what is this? Does anyone know? They mean the musical. Is this normal? Does this happen a lot? Huh. Well, that's fun, isn't it? You know, you have this. It is nice, I do have to say. I like that you can stand in the pickles. Very beautiful. Truly the pickle of all time. IBX Toycat, opinion on turkey flavored ice cream. I think they should do that for Thanksgiving or Christmas. So, is turkey not a Christmas bird for Americans, or do you just have 2 turkey holidays in a row? That's what I want to know. 4,000 minus 255. Okay, it's way this way. Easy. Yeah, it's above sea level. That's what makes it even more confusing, right? It's not something that makes sense there, and yet it is there anyway. Here is my village. Wow. Okay, so there's a raid going on. I just choose to ignore raids. You know, like most problems in the world, it's probably bad for people who it affects, but it's not bad for me if I shut my eyes and pretend I can't see it. We should preach ignorance as a solution to more of the world's problems. Like, you know, it is really sad when you look at, like, I don't know, COVID cases or whatever. What if we all just stopped looking? What if we all just agreed together, you know, I do not see this, and everyone's fine. Oh my god, my portal was just, it was just over there. It's so close by. I was in the right place. I just couldn't see it because of the rain. Well, oops. But I've got to, you know, it's fine. It's okay. Everything's fine. I'm going to be great. I'm going to be more than great. So I've got a whole extra shulker box I'm going to fill with nonsense. And some of that nonsense will be copper. I hope. So we'll mine this way first. We want to go closer to 47, 48. And then we'll be better. That's what did happen with COVID. Yeah, I picked a nice controversial one. How about we just look at the... you know, we'll pick a genocide to ignore next week. But for now, my therapist told me to stop watching news and current events for my own mental health. So, I actually think that is a good call for most people. You'll never see a news story about this. A news story being like, survey confirms. Also, when did I get these sea pickles? Survey confirms, listening to the news, really bad for anxiety. Do you want to know why you're not going to see that in the news? Do you think it's a shocking thing that the news will never cover why the news as a whole is very bad. Because the news is it's trying to sell you on the idea that they're keeping you informed. And honestly, keeping informed is super important, and more people should do it. But also at the same time, the news is not a reflection of the most important things happening around you. It is the most, perhaps the most, how do you want to put this? The most clickable, the most saleable ideas happening around you. So, just for a fun example, if something really important was happening right now, it wouldn't matter as much if that was a thing that media decides not to cover. So I think this is something that I think is always actually pretty good, because there's always people being trained in journalism school and picking up new practices, etc. I think it always is improving on some level, but it helps to control us with fear. But because there is a certain amount of public information that is needed, and normal public information is not exciting to most people. If you've ever tried to, maybe this is depressing, but if you've ever tried to, see actual just public safety information or whatever, it's so dull and boring, and who wants to bother with it? You need to have it sensationalized, or maybe because of seeing it sensationalized for so long, or maybe put it this way: if you're the CEO of a company that makes crisps, you work in or potato chips. I work in the potato chip factory. The only things that are important are the very high level issues. In my potato factory, I don't care about when the workers are off sick. That's why I hire a person to manage them. But I do really care about if there's a trade embargo with Russia and we can't sell our potato chips there anymore. And so, on an individual level, you need someone to work out. It's a service someone's providing if they work out what's worth caring about and what's not. So, for an example, you shouldn't care about oh yeah, there was a deer spotted dead at the local park, suspected, hit and run by a car. Man, that sucks that a car ran over that deer. But what does it benefit you to know about it? Maybe if you have information, you could let people know. But it's probably more important that you know about the murder of 5 in the next town over. Right? Can we agree on that? That's probably more important. That you could prioritize murder over person hit a deer with their car. And so in the same way, in much the same way, in a similar vein, that is. But I should get away from this village. I'm sure the pillagers are just destroying the villages right now. There's a certain amount of filtering that has to be done. What is that noise? Do you hear that? Is that cave noise or is that thunder? It's probably nothing. Knowing about the deer matters more to me than some WNBA player getting out of Russia. Yeah, that annoys me. That story's been on the news too. That's an example of that's a story that is very big if you're into WNBA, and that's a story that's very big if you're into international relations. Because you know who the US had to give up to get the basketball player out of prison, right? They gave up an arms dealer, an arms dealer who had actively it caused the end of American lives, so they could get a boss. It's an interesting point. It's an interesting case in my opinion. It's definitely an example of someone who is being extra pressured because they are famous or whatever. But yeah, it's an insanity. But the weird thing about the media is so in theory, having someone report on important events is very good. It's a objective good thing for the world. Where it starts to break down is okay, so then those people don't just start informing you about events, they start trying to tailor it to what you think is good. That same story I said is outrage inducing if I say it the way I say it. Oh yeah, so America just let an arms dealer out of jail so that a women's basketball player could go, could be not punished for her crime of bringing weed into a foreign country, which is, to be fair, drug smuggling. It's very accidental. It's a very small amount. It shouldn't be punishable, but it is that is what the crime is. But you could frame that the other way, and you can say, hero, champion who is playing a game, playing a sport for all of us. Hero of the country is biggest trade in WNBA history. This hero of the country is being held by Russia, and the president wouldn't do anything about it. That's another way to see that. It's like, man, because as an example, just as a fun example, so Canada had a similar situation happen, but like way worse recently. That maybe you definitely haven't heard about this one. I know that's maybe this is like hypocrisy of the news. So the thing I just mentioned, the WNBA player, etc. So a similar thing happened to a Canadian flight crew. There's a charter airline. They have like 5 staff, and the staff, the plane, they were chartered to fly from the Dominican Republic to Toronto, Canada. So they were flying from a foreign country into Canada. That's their thing. And no religion, no politics, no Canada. So this flight crew, that was their duty, right? They had to fly into the Canada. When they got there, they found, just weirdly, but before they were about to fly, it was like a giant duffel bag filled with cocaine. And they're like, oh god, what the heck? And so they reported it to the police, like, oh yeah, guys, just so you know, whoever was gonna play, like, someone related to this plane probably, was trying to smuggle drugs. And so, what the Dominican authorities did, quite logically, in all of our views, is so to reward the flight crew for reporting this, they arrested them all and put them in a Dominican prison. Those noises are very annoying, honestly. Maybe I should not have that happen. But they put them in a prison, then the flight crew appealed to the Canadian government, like, please let us out. We're being held because we reported a crime we didn't do. And as I understand, the Canadian government were like, we'll get to it. And so they went. And what makes it worse is the Prime Minister of Canada, as well as the President of the Dominican, have had discussions, but they didn't lead to anything. Until yesterday, where they're like, okay, after 6 months, we finally got this whole crew of innocent people out of this foreign country. Admittedly, they didn't trade any arms dealers, as best I can tell. So that's like a win on that level. But that's like a much more important. That's like a story that shows like, oh yeah. If you look at the WNBA player and think, wow, the president cares about every single person, and that's great. Just let it be known. It's very much a case of like, man, we traded away something big for someone. Which, to be fair, if you think about the way celebrity works, especially in a country like the United States, it is very. It genuinely is seen as a thing that you interact with way more celebrities than you do real people. Like, you don't actually interact with them, but you have a relation with them. You have, you would know if who's a famous American. You would know if the host of The Price is Right went missing tomorrow. You would know if I can't name a famous American like Jennifer Aniston. There you go. You would know if she went missing because you wouldn't be able to watch whatever she's done in the last 15 years, right? You'd be like, I cannot keep up with it. It is so sad. I am truly heartbroken. What can I do about this? That's the cadence you'd have and everything. Okay, I'm gonna mine this block up now. I should get a little bit more. If there's any other copper just hanging about in this, I should really go and get it. Yeah, there's some over there. Let's mine our way over to it. Truly just destroy this ravine. This is my ravine of mining. You would know and you would care. Whereas if like Steve from Montana goes missing tomorrow, you wouldn't know. In fact, Steve from Montana is missing. Statistically, there is a Steve in Montana who is currently on the missing list. You didn't know, did you? Be honest with me. Did you know that Steve in Montana was missing? Did you even know about Steve in Montana? And so there is this interesting relation we have with celebrity, with people who are, in effect, a normal person knows 500 people or something like that. you vaguely know 500 people. You're close, you're close enough to people that you could be on a first name basis with close to 100. You're like maybe like a close enough acquaintance that you could start up a friendship with like closer to 20 to 50. And you've got like a handful of really close friends. Some people say they've got a lot of close friends, but that's because they don't know the difference between close friend and far friend, I think. Or maybe I'm the crazy one who doesn't know the difference. But I can definitely feel the differing levels there. And yeah, so in a way, someone whose life would impact 500 people's is less important than someone who'd impact 500,000. You can, if you make a mathematical argument there, right? It's a bit of a cruel one to make, but just because something's cruel, it doesn't mean it's not true. That's one of the brutal realities in life, is that a lot of the worst things are just like they are facts of matter, right? Like I don't know. It's a thing. So instead of following laws, we should just be all more relatable. This is a real. I think this would be an interesting thing I think this would be an interesting plot point for something or other. But in the real world, if you want to be less punishable, there's a famous biblical story just about this. Also, I love the circle mine, just instant mine for as much gravel as we can get. I want gravel. Apparently, I'm gonna get my hands on some. It's gonna cause a lot of a mess. I'm not even finding any copper for all of this. That's the craziest bit. I just mined like an entire inventory's worth of gravel, basically. And I haven't... Where is the copper? It's got to be around here somewhere, you would assume. Okay, let's keep looking. Let's keep looking. We're going a little bit lower than we want to be. So we'll go back up. Gonna use this shovel to its truest extent. Just... Where are you, gravel? I'm gonna find you. The real world, like, being likable is way more important than being right in the eyes of a lot of things. If you look like you've done a crime, you are, like, I mean that in, like, there are lots of biases we have, and there are lots that are widely known. But if if you've never looked up the halo effect before and you consider yourself ugly, don't do that. Think about it. When you go to court, you wear a suit. Why does it matter what you wear to court when you're just there to talk about the innocence of your case? Well, it matters because, like, the way you look affects how people perceive you, and people who look a certain way are going to be. So, like, wearing a suit is very important to look like an upstanding person. I mean, I changed thumbnail to mining gravel. And so being a little bit charming and being liked by more people will really go far for you in life. It's maybe it's depressing to hear, maybe it's depressing to say, maybe it's happy to say, because you realize, like, oh yeah, there we go. By the way, get some more copper. Finally, feel like I've been mining for a while without some copper, so important to get some in there. If you really want to improve your odds of winning whatever legal case you're gonna get into, you become more likable. Whenever celebrities are doing, like, whenever celebrities have, like, a court case or something, it's important to them, like, okay, you do all this PR so that the most people possible have a positive impression of you. The most people go, oh, that guy, he did this really cool thing. You know how many celebrities there are where their entire image is when people mention them, someone goes, oh, that guy, he's so nice, I heard he did this. That's why like charity campaigns are a big thing, like there are some really nice, genuine celebrities, I'm sure. And there's a lot who are like, oh yeah, I know how to boost my image. If you want, even in the small town sense, in your town of 1,000 people, if everyone knows and likes you, then the police are not going to want to prosecute you for doing something wrong. They want to give you a warning. Whereas when you're the person who's hated in town, the police are just looking for a reason to send you to prison. Because, man, everyone wants you there already. They're just waiting for a reason to do so. We're following the letter of the law like nerds. And it's a little brutal, but it's, the world is filled with like biases, conscious and unconscious. And our biggest one, the biggest like inequality, if I even could say, is the one against people who aren't very well liked. If someone looks like an unlikable person, you might like them less. If someone you know, it looks like a not upstanding human being. It's like, oh, this person. You know, I think I'm sure you've even had this experience like in a school or something. Like maybe this is just me, but I definitively felt when teachers were just like, this guy, like just looking at me, and it's like, what did I do to offend you already? Like I know I'm gonna do something eventually that will offend you. Like I mean that's what children do with teachers, right? But like right now, you know, the score's pretty close to even, and you're already offended. Or see, I think also emerald block. I think mining in caves is definitely the way you're gonna find more copper. Pro tip: do precisely what I just did right there. Works very well. But yeah, we're gonna find more copper this way, which is important when you're mining copper, so that people will stop asking for an iron farm. As we've been doing this entire time, I didn't say anything else. Try and fact test me on that one. And yeah, so people like when you're honest, but in the good ways. They don't want you to be honest and say they look fat today. They want you to be honest and say, oh yeah, by the way, I thought that thing you did right there that everyone just like kind of walked past was really brave. You know, like tell them the things that you honestly think that you think they would like to hear. It's really hard to do that. Like it's easy to pile on praise when someone's really like, oh, you did really good today. Yeah, I agree, you did great. But to be the first one, to you know, like, be the person who says like, wow, this food was great. To be the person who goes, oh yeah, you are looking really good today. Did you? Oh, okay, that's a creeper. It's fine. Looks like it worked out for me. Yeah, being the first person to drop the nice words, that's yeah, and ideally they're real. Because again, like you know how I mentioned earlier, like if you compliment someone and it's not correct, also a mineshaft. Oh, even better. If you compliment someone and it's not correct, even if it just feels not correct, it feels disingenuous. Sometimes people like that anyway. Like, hey, just so you know, I don't say this to many people. I don't want to like overhype or anything, but I really like what you do. I think, you know, like most people probably wouldn't say it to you, but I think you're like actually fun to hang out with. I think you're like an interesting human being to be around, and I'm glad that I get to spend some time with you doing this. So thank you for showing up so we can do this together. You know, is there not a part of you that's like, ooh, I am interesting? You know, I'm glad he likes my chats or just my presence. You know, I like that he likes that I'm not crazy ravaged bear in the chat. Yeah, it's I've heard like, oh yeah, you're looking good today. I don't know you're looking good, but I bet you feel a tiny bit better about that compliment. The psychology shows that even a compliment you know is fake is worth slightly more than a compliment. It's worth more than not receiving a compliment, because a lot of people just, you know, they're already believing it about themselves. So just having it be reaffirmed, it's nice. Parasocial relationship going insane right now. Oh man, could I like borrow like some money? Just you know, it's fine. It's fine if you say no, but could I just like borrow it until you know, later? Could you just like lend me that cash that I need real quick? No, I spoke to hey, here's something interesting, right? I find this to be fascinating. So I have a couple of YouTube friends who are drastically more successful than me. You know, at least let's just say more successful. You know, I think that's more correct there. So so they have a whole problem of wherever they move, like someone will notice and they'll make a whole thing of it. And so they while they were like getting a house something, they had a decorator who would come around a lot, and they got really close friends with this decorator. And then the decorator says one day like, oh yeah, just by the way, yeah, just pay it back when you can. Thank you, Diluted Dante. Yeah, I'll get it back to you real soon. You won't even know it. You know, this is the last time we ever speak. That's how this one works. Yeah, you know, if you could just like, I'll get it back to you soon. Don't worry. I just could, you know, just like, if you could, that'd be great. Oh yeah, here's a tenner.
Here's a tenner. I know you're good for it.
There, you know, thank you. I'll have that back to you within the new year. Within the new year, I'll be right back with you. Trust me, that it'll be good. I'm good for it. I'm good for it. So, more seriously, and less funnily maybe, I think, well, see, yeah, mine shafts are just such good places to find ores, right? Such good places. I think, yeah, the story I was telling is like, so they became like close friends with this person. Then they asked for money. They like said, hey, can we borrow like a few £1,000s? And I thought that was the most interesting story because I immediately felt like, yeah, I couldn't like a person after they tried that anymore. I immediately would feel like, oh, this whole friendship building was a money building exercise for you. You immediately tried to convert friendship points into money points, and I don't like that. That's not a thing that I'm down with. Oh, there's spiders. They're gonna spawn there. That's a good thing. That's definitely a good thing and not a bad thing. Never lend a tenner, nor a borrow a bee. Yeah, I think the thing I always like to remind people is like, if someone who's not close to you asks to borrow money from you, you're gonna feel real bad if you can't do it for them. Like, it feels like the thing to do if you want to help. Oh, hello there, friend. How's it going? Like, you know, like, why wouldn't you want to help someone out? You do have spare money, and it's just borrowing it. They're gonna give it back. So there's no cost to you to giving someone a debt that they repay. And so why shouldn't you do it? You know that you know they'll turn the guilt taps on you, and you'll be feeling in the moment like, oh yeah, why am I not just going to give them the money? Like, you know, make this awkwardness go away. And there's two reasons. One is because there's no guarantee of getting money back. You're now creating an incentive for that person not to talk to you, because every time they talk to you, they're reminded of how much money they owe you, which doesn't sound bad because if they're just going to pay it back. But bear in mind that if someone asks you for money and you're not the closest person in that person's life, or even in the top 5, as is often is the case, if you're not the closest person in that person's life, that means they spoke to everyone closer than you. So they spoke to their parents first, then they spoke to their real close friends, then they spoke to their distant friends and said, hey, can I borrow some money? Now they're getting round to you. So it could be that all those people just don't have money to lend. Yeah, that's possible. All those people are following the same logic as you. Or, hey, Toy Cat.
Hey, Toy Cat, you're looking really handsome today. Can I borrow $10?
I am. Oh, you know it's my new skincare regime. I've been eating a lot of salmon, and that's been my skincare regime. It's got lots of natural oils, and that's good. People like natural oils, as if there are non-natural oils that just, you know, magically appear one day. But yeah, no, thank you for noticing. You can borrow 20 anytime you like. Fork in the bar. Good name. But no, yeah, you can totally borrow some money. Yeah, good idea. You know, would you like some more? Yeah, I do have to say, that's how it be. People don't ask to borrow money much. I wonder why. Yeah, you know, that's a good problem to have. That's a very good problem to have. People don't ask to borrow money from me very often. But yeah, it means that everyone else has failed them, and that's probably for a reason. Because, you know, it could just be that no one wants to lend them money. Most likely, they borrowed money from all those people, and now, like, if you owe someone £100, you can't ask to borrow more money from that person because you already owe them. You were meant to pay them back the moment you got money. Now you're correct, and so you either don't ask or you ask, and that person goes, "No, pay me back." And so then you go down the next level, like, okay, I'm going to speak to my sister, and I'm going to speak to my friend, I'm going to speak to my friends of my friends. By the time they're reaching you, they have so many debts accumulated. Their life is a wreck. They are asking for charity. It's like a person on the side of the street going, hey, can I have some change to buy a meal tonight? Except they're saying, hey, I would like some money to run my financial life poorly, and I'm not even going to give you at least when you give money to a homeless person, you don't say, hey there, buddy on the street, I'm going to give you this sandwich in the form of a low interest loan. So I'm going to come back this time next week, and I'd like a sandwich and a chocolate bar back, please. Is that okay with you? That's okay, great. No, you give money. You know, it's a form of charity, you could say. But when people ask to borrow money, they're getting all the feelings as if they're going to give it back. Like They're not really asking for that much, just the time value of money. And then they're stealing money from you when they don't repay it. And it's like, oh man, that's at least give me the joy of knowing I gave you money. You know, I mean, I'm not saying this doesn't happen to me, by the way, but I'm saying at least that's the one thing you could have, right? At least you could say, well, I did a really great thing. I gave money to someone who needed it. But no, they're not even giving you that much. Every time you speak to them, they're gonna insist. When I inherited money from my grandmother, I had a lot of people taking advantage, and I was young and more naive. Now I wouldn't tell people if I came into money. Oh yeah, 100% same here. I'm very much on team. Do not tell people your money situation. Even my maybe this is like particular to my family situation. My mother has no clue what I earn. She has the vague idea that like I might be successful because I bought, you know, like a couple of, I bought a house and then I moved into a different house in a, you know, like an expensive city. Probably has a vague idea. You know, like maybe from the all the going back and forth to Las Vegas, maybe. But like I'm very, very careful of like who. It's when you talk about money, people, some people can take it as, wow, that's cool. I now know more about the industry, etc. Some people take talking about money as a insult to them, like, oh, you think you're better than me? It's like, no, you asked, and I'm telling you the answer. It's like, oh, yeah. Well, I guess since you're Mr. Moneybags, guess you'll be paying all, and it's like, oh, is that how this be? I was gone for a bit, and these tunnels are broken, says the Jersey Herper. Yeah, that is what happened. That is a factual account of events. So let's replace this flint with some gravel. I don't think there's ever a need for me to have flint, right? If I have a, you know, like an arrow farm anyway, I think that's the one big... I guess I can make a ton of fletching tables. I can make a ton of fletching tables, and then I could, like... Yeah, I'm gonna make a ton of fletching tables. And then I'm gonna... I guess I already did. I replaced my birch trees with fletching tables. I guess that's about as far as I can take that idea. Okay, so now let's do the big roundup now, chat. Let's see how many coppers we got. We gotta see. I'm curious about this one. Interesting, my mother's the rich one, I'm the poor one. She doesn't know how much money I have either. It's an interesting, I guess, like, I think no matter what the disparity is, which way it is, it's always gonna be a bit like, you know, I think there's only a certain type of relationship where you can talk money, and that's the one where hopefully you can be happy for each other and just be like, oh, now I've learned more. I know people in X industry make Y money. Like, if everyone knew exactly how much everyone else made all the time, everyone would be better, you know, when it comes to, like, talking about pay and whatnot and how they can do stuff. But also, a lot of people would be unhappier. You know that thing that we talk about with, like, equality and equity? A lot of people would be happy with equality as far as they see it, you know? Like, they don't know the full extent. And a lot of people vastly overestimate, like, you know, this is so, you know, like I said, we have a sense of fairness within us. And so this is one of the things the media fans the flames of, because it's very good business for them. But it's also just like human nature for a certain number of people. Like, you know, jealousy is a human trait. It's an understandable one too. But yeah, when we talk about like billionaires, and when you realize how much more a billion is than a million, and when you realize how much a million would be anyway, maybe less so after modern day inflation, but it's like, man, there are people who just do whatever they want whenever they like. They're eating gold leaf burgers just for fun. You know, like, they're that level of wealthy. They can buy a house instead of a hotel every city they go to. These people do exist, in theory. But, like, the actual, like, you know, like, when we, like, talk about the wealth, like, this is a point that's, like, almost memed on to death, but it's like, well, actually, when someone has, you know, 20 billion, they don't have 20 billion. They own 10% of their own company, which is worth 200 billion. And it's like, well, I mean, it's got a value that can be traded in for 20 billion. But also, isn't it interesting that people choose 10% of a company? Like, you know, I think it's Jeff Bezos who only owns like 11% of Amazon. And that's like a huge stake to own in your own company. Like, when we say like, oh yeah, Elon Musk owns Tesla and I think Twitter's the one example where like it's just fully owned by one guy. But your Mark Zuckerberg owns Facebook. It's like a tiny percent they own off a very large company that they happen to found. And there's like a cult of personality around saying this is the guy to run this. And it's like, so then that tells you like, okay, so why are these people really like this? Why do they choose to? And there's a really interesting thing in there about like, well, is it fair? Should we all own 0.1% of their company instead? Or should, you know, like as soon as they do sell it, should we like communally share in the rewards of that? You know, they're interesting questions, interesting answers. I'm sure you can have your own opinions on them. I think Musk owns like half of Tesla. No, that's the crazy thing, right? You might think like half. If you look up the percent, I think it's like 2 or 3 or it's less than 10. It's definitely less than 10. Can you really call Zuckerberg a cult of personality? He has so much personality. You would say if you were a well-trained robot. I'm just saying. Wow, I sure do love this man's vibrant views on barbecuing and the weather. Wow, I sure do hope that there is more like him. This is very good. Beep boop. Frankly, that's why things are so weird right now, because people are more aware of things than ever. Yeah, you know, like the news should be there to filter things from like how important it is to you, but instead, because how important to you is deemed by like, well, how angry does it make you? That's how we're gonna measure all our stuff. Because we use that as the metric, it's like, yeah, this is a thing that will get people real riled up, real mad. And it's like, why is that good again, sir? Because then they'll watch more of our stuff, which has ads on it. And it's like, okay. And then, yeah, that's the place we end up in. Is it the ideal place? Is there such thing as an ideal place? You know, are we aiming our society in a direction, or are we just kind of just free floating? The answer is the second one. And it works fine for most things, most of the time, mostly. Except when it doesn't. So we're gonna put our gunpowder away and just grab some more fireworks. Always good to do. And then we're gonna put our iron in the furnace. Look at that, already smelting. Just add a little bit more in there. A little bit more in there. And now we're gonna go do the crazy copper ore. Also, I've got sea pickles still. Wait. Why sea pickles? I don't understand. I guess it must have come from one of those equivalent things. Ideal place is bed, says Mad582. I'm so tired. I need to sleep in Minecraft, obviously. No, I really do think that the amount of sleep I've been getting is bad. I'm using that as my crutch phrase, huh? I really do think. Just spotted that right now. Okay, so I'm going to mine all this copper, and we're going to see how much it turns into. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, I'm just gonna climb. Yeah, I've just been sleeping. I've just not been sleeping recently, and I want to take a nap in the middle of the day to like counter it. But there's like so much I've got to do. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna stay up and I'm gonna make Minecraft live streams because it's streamless. So yeah, tomorrow there won't be a streamless, by the way. I have a friend's birthday. It's multiple friends' birthdays, so I really can't dodge out on it. And like the timing means like I could maybe do a morning stream, but like it's not gonna work. So I think we say streamers is to make up for it. We'll do the 70 hour stream. Make like a structure out of the copper. I do have a giant desert temple made out of iron ore. You might like. Why haven't you been sleeping, IBX Toycat? Oh, I just, like, there's this funny problem about the day. In theory, you're awake for 16 hours a day. You sleep for 8 hours, right? That should be true, but, like, something about going to bed late means you get a lot of leisure time. Something about waking up late means you're missing out on key work time. It just feels that way, like you're way behind. Like, I'll be eating dinner at, like, 5, and it's like, I'm still only halfway through my work day. And so I don't know why that messes me up, but it does. Also, yeah, look how dark it's getting. Love to see it. So because you get so much copper per copper ore mine too, it's a good thing. Also, yeah, I think it's good. Okay, I think that we are finally at the top. So we are about this high relative to the sugarcane farm. I can't believe I haven't moved the water up yet. I guess it's going to be a very destructive event. Ooh. This drink is growing on me, by the way. I was able to relate to the not sleeping thing about a month ago, and to some extent now. Sometimes my brain keeps itself awake with the run-on thing, thinking. Oh, that's the worst when that happens, when you're, like, not even control of it. Also, oh my god, how many... Okay, sweet. I'm gonna, like, have to make a separate stack. How many blocks are we gonna... Okay, so... That was only 4. That was 6. That was 12. So we can get up to 12. I've heard you can get up to 12, but, like, it's still crazy to... That was 20 copper for a single... We're gonna have so much copper, like, Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah. This is... I am not prepared for this at all. Okay, so how much copper are we gonna end up with, chat? Make a guess. You are in control of your brain and your thoughts, though. What's a horrifying idea is, what if you're not in control of your brain and your thoughts? To some extent, you're not. There's a sub-brain that is controlled by your main brain. And that sub-brain can do whatever it wants. You can control the overarching direction it goes, but like, how does creativity work? If you're in control of your brain fully, how do you come up with new ideas? Like, oh yeah, I'll make a... You're creating things from thin air, right? You have parts of your brain that can do that. So you can't tell yourself, oh yeah, come up with an idea about how horses should jump. Also, I filled up my inventory already. That's a good sign, I think. I hope this is my fortune pickaxe. If it's not, that's very bad. Is that where impulsive thoughts come from? 2 shulkers, 6 stacks. You think 2 full shulker boxes fix sand? That's a bold prediction. I should have got a shulker box so I could, like, immediately load this into one. I'm just surrounded by copper, by the way. We can do a slow spin as we do this. There we go. That's a good speed. Just slowly watch the world go by. Yeah, I enjoy these streams as an opportunity to hang out in a deeper way. Maybe you've enjoyed a little deep talk we got to do because we were mining. I hope that you did. If you did, make sure to join me on Saturday, because that's when I'll be streaming next. Whenever I mine the way you're mining, I fall off and die. Oh, the trick is don't use your left stick or your WASD or your, like, you don't do that, and then you'll be fine. So, yeah, I need to fly away immediately, go grab a shulker box. That's a level of preparation I was not. There's just so many. This is more than 1,000 copper, for sure. Is it 4 copper ingots to a block, or is it 9? If it's 4, I'll get my 1,000 blocks. If it's not, I might not. The copper is bouncing. The copper is bouncing. It's true. It is very true. Okay, we're almost there, internet. Oh yeah, look at these piles on the ground. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure it doesn't despawn by flying away, so it's like out of the ticking distance or whatever. I'm gonna go grab a shulker box. In fact, I think I just had one. Oh, I had the shulker box on. It's just, okay, it's already filled. So, move the cobblestone. Oh yeah, okay. We've created. I see the conundrum we've created for ourselves. So move the copper in, then move the other blocks out. So gravel, and stone, and diorite, and there we go. So we move these blocks into there. Easy. And then we move these blocks into there. Easy, easy. And then we move the gravel into that one. And now we got just 3 more blocks to move. Put the raw copper in. Probably best to just move these out now. There's emerald ore and copper ore and stuff that we're gonna... Wait, I have copper ore? No, that's iron ore. So we'll put the iron ore in here, because, like, we can use that later. I think using iron ore for things besides what it's meant for is very fun. And now we've got a silly amount of raw copper. Plus all the stuff we're about to go pick up. I don't think this is gonna be enough, actually. I think we need to clear out the second shulker box. Or one of these, at least. Okay, so... place this down. What's in there? Gravel, 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 gravel. Gravel, 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 gravel. Okay, I've got a lot of gravel. Should probably... Oh, have I got too much gravel? I have 2 full shulker boxes full of it here as well, so... I need to start making some concrete. Okay, that's... I've got more gravel than sand. That is the limiting factor now. Andesite and diorite and andesite and diorite. Just all this nonsense goes in my second chest of that stuff over here. Andesite, diorite, etc., etc. All good to go. I think that's gravel. Okay, now we... Oh, yeah, this is... There's a problem here. I can see what the problem is. And I'm going to choose to ignore it. And then we just got some stacks of cobblestone. So we take all these stacks away and put them in the nearest chest that still takes cobblestone. Cobblestone in there? No. Perfect. See, because I've been mining stone so much, I haven't been collecting cobblestone. I'll just put this in there. You know, I won't even notice there's gravel in there. Future me is going to love the way I did this chest organization. Now we go grab our box, and we pray that our items haven't despawned anyway. There's a tiny chance we're in the simulation distance for it, but I don't think so. Oh, maybe we were actually. No, it's fine. Okay, so just place this down and just go crazy with this. Okay, just do. Gotta go get it. Okay, so getting a full shulker box of copper is not an insane idea. These hold 1,700 blocks, bear in mind. 1,700, yeah, items. I think that's all of it. Okay, so we got, if we combine these together, I think we got exactly a shulker box, right? Wait, we got a shulker box and then a tiny stack of change. Yeah, shulker box and then a stack. So we got about 1850 or so copper today. So that is that was disappointing. You know, I was kind of blown away. I mean, I wasn't blown by the fact that it was a full box, but I was blown away by that being a thing. Future me has so many problems. Now me is watching Toycat streams and playing Minecraft. Honestly, that's all you need. If you have Minecraft, you have life. You have a good time, and that's what matters. Okay, so now we're gonna go absolutely wild on the wild copper here. Okay, so I have a little bit of a problem brewing, which is I have more... See, this is why you need an auto furnace system. Just for the one time you go out and you mine a full shulker box worth of ingredients. But let's place it down, and let's now smelt it like crazy. So every one of these needs to be converted over to copper. Sand, no thank you. I wanted to say thanks to you for streaming. I always enjoy the streams, as does chat. We appreciate it, but take care of your mental health and sleep, please. Yeah, no, I definitely am going to sleep tonight. Don't you worry. I will be asleep, and you won't even know when, or how, or what, or who, or way, or whack, or... Yeah, all those questions, you're going to have no clue about. So yeah, we're going to fill every single one of these furnaces. Probably take out the raw gold from there. Like, we'll just put it in here for now, because it's something that we are going to get round to. And then we're going to go, yeah, a little bit wild, I guess. We should replace these buckets with... I mean, we should just get more lava in them. But for now, we'll replace the buckets with... Well, I guess we can just put lava in. It's fine. Since we're going to be using it all, it makes sense to use a lava bucket, I guess. So, throw the lava bucket in. Throw the lava bucket in. Throw the lava bucket in. I don't want to smelt sand, though. So, throw it in, and let's go. Okay, so... now we have to pick a tool to mend with all this experience we're about to get. So glass, copper, copper. It's gonna be a lot of experience, isn't it? Oh yeah, look at this. This is going wild. Okay. Nice. Yeah, we're gonna pick up a lot of good stuff. It's gonna be a good day to be around. Just lots and lots and lots of resources. Never brick's a bit of a weird one. Just throw that right in the chest because I don't even know what to do with it. This chest, okay, and if we can get all the furnaces running at once, that'll be a good day for me. So this goes in the chest, and this comes out, and then we got 15 active furnaces. I think that's impressive. I mean, to use all of them, and then still need to smelt this much more, it's a good sign. So I think we now can combine the copper into blocks. It is 9 to a block, so that's actually very efficient in terms of turning it into a thing. Yeah, that's 29. We're going to get a lot of those, and then we're going to do some inventory organization. Chat, chat, chat. It's your favorite thing. Look at this. Inventory organization. I've got lots of things that don't need to be here. I'm going to run around. I'm going to put them in the right place. And it's your favorite thing, and this is your theme song. Yeah, that's my theme. That's my song. I hope you like it. Hope you found that to be effective. Okay, glass goes in a glass shulker box. This one will do. In you go. Too much glass. Too much problem. And put this back in. That's right. Easy done. The gold... Also, I've got a whole box filled with them. A whole chest, I should say. So we'll layer this out so it goes like this. And now we can start putting gold in. And then also copper. I don't intend to fill up this with copper. I'm going to turn it into blocks. And I want to place those blocks somewhere so they oxidize. Slowly, but very surely. So I can't spoil us today. I know. Can you believe it? All this organization on my inventory. And then even this whole box right here. Okay. This is unprecedented. Also, I shouldn't have mined those blocks. We'll just ignore that. This is... oh no, so much gravel. I think I need to make this chest into the gravel overflow again. Or I need to accept I'm going to have a whole shulker box full of gravel. I think I should accept that, clearly. I need to cover something in gravel soon. I think that needs to be a project that is upcoming. What should I cover in gravel is the question. A whole biome? What if it's a desert, but it's made from gravel blocks instead? Yeah, that's an idea. Gravel block desert. What about we cover the nether in gravel? Gravel nether? I mean, that'd be good for reasons. So now we take the gravel we erroneously put in here. See that? If you hated this, it's fixed now. And then we throw it in there. And now we can also take some of the extra gravel hanging around and move that in as well. Wow. Look how wonderful this is turning out to be. In fact, yeah, just even these blocks here, just a few extra gravels can always do wonder. Ooh, I perfectly lined up the number of stacks. And then we throw this and that. And then we have to get right back to placing gravel inside the furnaces. So this will go... There's a little bit of andesite in there, but it's fine. No one will even notice, besides the text. So let's start reloading up these furnaces. That's not correct. Please don't smelt my shulker box. With the shovel out, of course. This one has run out as well. Get that out. I think one of these, yeah, there's a lot of raw copper that needs to go in there. But yeah, we now have a running set of furnaces, and this will show up in a Let's Play episode. So it'll tie in if you watch the channel for that. I enjoyed this little stream. We hung out, we mined some copper. I don't need to make an iron farm now because of all this copper I've got. Look at all this iron I've ended up with while not even mining it. That's how amazing. I imagine you could smelt shulker boxes, like you get a single shulker cell for it. They should give you that option, just as a dumb one that you can choose to do. Anyway, this has been a delightful day. Thank you for joining me on it. If you enjoyed, please do consider becoming a member, just like Blue Orca did, to become the 824th. And if you liked this, then tomorrow is going to be a slightly different Q&A Saturday. We're going to focus on like one topic, a lot more than normal. And yeah, and it's going to be fun because Seed Sunday is coming back as well. There's a lot of classic stuff for the channel, whether that's the, you know, like some long, silly projects in my Let's Play world, whether that's Seed Sunday, and whether that is mining too many blocks so that people are telling me to stop making Iron Farm. It's all coming back today. And I look for even a Minecraft suggestion. It's the season of that. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of great stuff coming this week. I hope you look forward to seeing it, because I'll see you next time. Goodbye. See you on Sunday. See you on Sunday. Yeah.